Hello, beautiful, and welcome to the podcast where we're moving the conversation forward about the choices you make in your daily life. I'm your host, Monica Cox, and I'm here right alongside of you, learning, growing, observing, and trying to make better choices consciously and subconsciously. Together, we're going to become better versions of ourselves and have raw, honest, open conversations about the things that truly affect our lives. And maybe, just maybe, finally get to a place where everyone else's BS doesn't trigger us. My question is, when you are, everyone says like you're a mirror, like the people around you, you brought in and like they're a mirror of you and all this kind of stuff, right? When you are improving your wellness, you're becoming a better person, and like bitches still be showing up in your life. At what point is it they're not a mirror of you? Because you can like honestly say like I've done the work, like I know I'm not that person anymore, I know that. Why are they still in your life? Is it like the
I love this.
test, or not a test, I don't like saying that, but you know what I mean, like you still need to grow, like okay, maybe you're not that bitch, but you gotta like grow to not judge that bitch. What are your thoughts?
My perspective is we are so egotistical. We think that every single person in our life is meant for our learning. And what if we're meant for theirs?
But like honestly, fuck that. Like I'm just sitting there going like, oh, that's exhausting. It's exhausting, right?
But
Because
that's the
you're living
truth.
it with them, even though you've already dealt with that shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and it's a valid point, and that's just my take on it. And it's a fine line. That's the truth of it, right? Like it is a fine line because it could be that this is something that you're working through. It could be that this event or this person that came in, you attracted that person in based on, how you speak, how you view yourself, what you think is possible for yourself. Like all of that is there. But I think that we forget to think, like we're so egotistical that we think that like every single thing around here, this is it's such a double-edged sword. I'm gonna laugh at myself. Like we think everything out here is like happening for us, which is like true, but also we forget that we're in relationship with billions of other conscious beings that are surrounded by us. And so as much as like I'll use this oftentimes if I'm on Instagram and I'm like talking to somebody and they'll say something and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, that's the third time I just heard that phrase in like 3 days, let's say. I immediately thank them for being an angel in disguise because they were a sign. You were my sign today. Thank you for being that sign. Somebody who is triggered and is acting a fool and you're the recipient of that person should be thanking you because you are the angel in disguise for them. You're showing them what's possible. You're showing them a different way. It's this two-way street, but we won't, it's like twofold. One, we make everything about us. We make everything about our fucking journeys and ourselves. Like, just stop. That's a spiritual ego coming to the surface. But then another aspect of it is we can't receive honest love that we can't even fathom that we are somebody else's gift today, right? Like it's two sources that you can't recognize that you're the thing that's going to help somebody change their entire life today. Like we don't want to take that on because we're not worthy of that. We're not deserving of that. God couldn't possibly have just used me in this moment. When it's like, bitch, but you're saying all these other people get to be angels for you. Like it is literally a two-way street. Mm-hmm. That's my thought.
Oh, I agree with all of that. I would say my answer is a lot simpler in terms of, not that that wasn't simple, Kim, but And just that I believe that yes, that we are, everybody that we experience is a mirror, and it only stops when you stop being triggered. Like if you're still getting triggered, then you still got work to do. Sorry, but like plain and simple. Like I know that that sucks, but I mean think about it though.
But what if you're
Like
not getting triggered?
Yeah,
What
I
if
was
you're
gonna
not
say,
getting
what
you're
if
triggered?
it's not triggering? You're just aware, you're just observing, and you're like,
You're like,
wow, like this is
wow.
still the reality I'm in. Like, and I know sometimes like you go into certain situations in life that you may not really choose, but it's part of just life, right? Like maybe your kid's school, maybe your family members, maybe even your work situation, right? And it's not something you can just go hard no, not doing it, right? There's got to be some give and take with life, I think.
So I would say there's a reason why so the example that you're giving is like you know an understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it's people that you don't want in your life. Yes?
It's not that people that you
Like
don't want, they're just people that are like just there by default, I suppose, right? So, like, say you take a kid to any school, right? I don't care if it's like the worst school in the world or the most expensive school in the world. You have to socialize with the other people who have decided to take that kid to that school or their kid to their
sure.
school, right? So, you're in this like community, say that very
Hmm.
loosely, or this environment that, okay, I know it's a choice, but you're never going to get to a place where everyone is like in harmony, right? Even if you like choose your people, you know you're not going to be in harmony every second of the day. But I'm just like, and I like what Kim has said, and I what you have said, it definitely both resonate. But I still have, you know me, I like these questions. Will it ever end? Because I
Well,
could go
yeah,
homeschool. I mean, easy, right? I'll go
so
homeschool and like lock myself away. But then I guess going back to both of your points, where's the growth in that?
well, and I guess my question is to like see if I can better understand it is like what is it that you are trying to get away from? Because from the way that you're phrasing it, it's like you want to get away from something. Like because
Society?
you're not well, and if that's the case, like
And
then
I don't
one
want
of two
to.
things.
Yeah,
Right.
no. Yeah.
But I mean like there's only if you're saying that if you're asking the question is are people mirrors to you, then my answer is yes. And if they're triggering you, then what the mirror is showing you is that you've got something to work on.
Yeah.
If you are looking in the mirror and they don't trigger you and you're seeing something that you love in that person, then they're there to remind you of how amazing you are.
Mhm.
Like mirrors have multiple functions. So yes, they're
What if
mirrors. And
you
if
are
you
seeing something that you don't like in them
But you're
and you're
not
not
triggered.
getting
But you're
triggered?
not triggered.
Is that just part of life?
in what case would you see something you don't like in somebody but you
How about this?
aren't being triggered?
I feel like I have a good example of
How
this.
long do we have?
I had like I would look at this as like maybe I'm just a scotch farther along on my journey than my husband is. Okay. And so if I'm with my husband and we go to a restaurant and let's say a patron or a waiter was shitty and my husband reacts and is triggered and I'm sitting over here in La La Land like I don't care, you can't fucking rock me. But also that was just a shitty thing to say. Like, that's an objective truth. That was a shitty thing to say. That was a shitty way to handle it. I am not triggered by this. You can go off and be whoever the fuck you want to be. But I see in that, much like I agree with your theory here about like how a mirror is, it's got multiple avenues, because for me, it comes and shows me how far I've come. But that person is still in my peripheral. I didn't necessarily attract in a shitty experience. Maybe my husband did for that day. I don't know. Like maybe he's working through something, but I'm in relationship with this individual. I'm walking hand in hand with them. One's triggered, the other's not. Objective truth, that person was shitty. I'm just not going to get pissed about it and waste my energy because I could give two shits. and he's going to get pissed and waste his energy because he can't believe that somebody acted that way. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think in that example, you've kind of changed the question. So you're then not looking in a mirror, you're observing something. You're that third person is having a completely different like experience with both people. You're not looking at the waiter being triggered, so therefore there's no lesson there for you to learn. You're not seeing something in yourself that you got to fix. And you're looking at your husband saying, I understand that you're having your emotions and I am seeing that you're a person that I love. You're allowing them to have their interaction. So like, yes, both of those people are mirrors to you. One is just not a trigger for you, and therefore you've got nothing to learn from that scenario with that person. And the other one, you're seeing that there is somebody in your world that you love, who in that loving is something that you have like a good thing, right? That mirror is showing you that good thing, but you are also evolved enough not to get triggered off of his trigger, and you are able to come to him and look at him with unconditional love.
Yeah.
So I totally, yeah.
So
I totally hear it. But
ahead.
It's like that mirror aspect. It is that, like, it's still like, that's what I think, that's where it comes through for me, is that like, I do 100% believe literally every single situation is a mirror. It's just, it depends upon what it's showing you. Is it showing you the growth that you've come? Is it showing you that this is a lesson that you need to learn from? But like, regardless, that person and that shitty experience, you're still going to have to deal with, because we're living in a human reality. Like that, I think, Monica, that's what you were talking about. It's like, that person, is that waiter never going to be here if I evolve enough or something? And to me, that answer is no.
Like, I mean, it's an honest question, right? Like, do we ever get to like utopia? Like, come on. But I guess
I mean, I would say no.
Yeah. And what I'm taking away, and this is, what resonates with me, is that you are the ultimate observer. And you are the ultimate person with a radical responsibility to understand how you are reacting to your observations. So it could literally, the people showing up in your life is possibly not more lessons for you, but yeah, to see yourself of like, wow, that would have triggered the shit out of me before. Like, well done, me. And then not to fucking judge them, right? Like, which is like the next, like, So yes, no. So thank you so much for answering that for me and talking it out. Very, very helpful. As always, ladies, so much fun. Super, super honored that you guys come and just talk shit with me. I love it.
I love it.
So obviously all the links are down below to connect with you guys. And really, until next month, I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again for joining us here on Choices. You can go ahead and leave a 5-star review because we're all friends here. But if you really want to move the conversation forward, please connect with us on our social media accounts, which you can find the links below. Have a beautiful week, and we'll see you next time here on Choices.